Guys, welcome back to League Crawler Live. This is one that we're just kind of doing on the spot, and here's why. Right, just for anybody out there that missed the announcement, what we had done in the past for League Crawler Live is we had been reaching out to guests weekly or bi-weekly and just said like, hey, are you guys available to talk something? And then we kind of got some feedback from the community or talked to people, and they're like, hey, it's really sporadic. There's a lot, there's a little. It just wasn't really something that felt super consistent. So what I decided to do on my end, just as a streamer, right, is I had joined up with a group of guys. I'd asked them to do a deep dive on my channel. I was like, hey, tell me where I can grow as a streamer, as a gamer. What can I do? And the one thing that they said was you got to get more consistent. Get on a consistent timeline. Let people know when you're going to be on. If you're on every night at the same exact time, or if you're on a schedule at the same time, people are going to be more, they're going to be more knowledgeable that you're there. So we're going to do this. And when I go back to League Crawler Live, my whole thought was, if we're doing League Crawler Live and people want consistency, why not we just add that to the 3-hour stream that we're doing? And let's just throw it out to the channel and be like, yo, if you guys want to jump on, let's jump on. Let's do it. Here's my schedule. Get on when you get on, and we'll have some fun. We put the tweet out today, put the message out today, and immediately we got a few guys that signed up. So tomorrow night, we have on hold on, let me check. I don't want to get this name wrong, right? Because I think I was about to say it wrong, and if I got that wrong, I'd feel terrible. We got Finn on for sure, but he is Top Madden Gaming. I was going to say My Madden Gaming, and that's not it. Top Madden Gaming. We're going to have him on tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun. I'm really looking forward to that tonight. And tonight we have the VFL, the Virtual Football League. I got to give a huge shout out to our Platinum Patreon supporters. We've got Soden Bowl, we've got Blitz the League, we've got SPA. You all are still rocking with us. You're still sending us your money. Man, that is phenomenal. We're going to continue to do some cool things with that to go back towards the community. We've got some cool stuff planned. I'm really excited for it. We're going to take a really quick commercial break. As we get back, let's jump in with Virtual Football League and let's find out what they got. A 3-on-3 league with over 200 members. I am so excited to jump into this, guys. We will be right back. Guys, we are back. Okay, so go ahead and introduce yourself. Let everybody know who you guys are. You guys are from the Virtual Football League. Let's do some quick introductions. For those of you who don't know me, I am Mostradamus, the host of this show over at League Crawler Live. Guys, let them know who you are.
Darren, you can go first.
Yeah, my name is Darion. We're part of a 3v3 Virtual Football League. I've been a part of the league for a good minute now. They just added back team play with regular rosters in Madden. So, that's pretty much it about me. I'm looking to be an owner this season on the Xbox League, and I'm going to let Ponchy take over and say some stuff about himself.
Yeah, man. My name's Ponchy. Well, my name's Devin, but I go by Ponchy Swag. Been in around team play communities for a long time, for when first Madden came out, and it kind of went away, and now it's back. But yeah, so we've been a community of players from back in the day when they had team play, and then now that it's back, we've created this league again. But I'm deputy commissioner. We have 2 deputy commissioners, a commissioner, and a board of governors that we're working on. Starting back up for the season. But yeah.
We lost you a little bit.
In the league. Like you said, we have 200 members. We're a 3v3 team play league. So it's a little bit different than most leagues where it's connected franchise. We do have a sim style football with rules, regulations to make sure players aren't manipulating anything. The I'll let you go ahead and ask questions because there's a lot of questions that come with the team play league because it's very different.
There is. I'm not gonna lie to you. When you guys first messaged me, I was like, "Oh, cool, we got a league." And then they were like, "Hey, this is a 3-on-3 league," and immediately I was like, "Yo, this is kind of dope," because I've only played 3-on-3. I think maybe a handful of times, and when we do, it's very apparent that the people that practice together, the people that play together consistently, those guys do really well. And if you're not one of those, it kind of looks like a clusterfuck. Like, excuse my language. So I'm really excited to kind of hear how you guys do this. So let's kind of talk about it. When did this idea come out?
So the actual VFL started, I think, around Madden 11.
Okay.
That was way back in the day when there was a bunch of lobbies, and we basically just had a group of people who enjoyed team play and wanted to try to make a league out of it. And so basically, we got some people together. I didn't join until Madden 12. Well, the end of Madden 11 into Madden 12. And around then, we actually had around 600 to 700 members, I think, at
Wow.
our peak. But yeah, so basically, we're really good at introducing new members because a lot of people, when they get into team play, it's this very like most people are normally 1v1 and they don't really understand how to do it. And so we have a lot of and basically the way the league works is we have a set list of owners and we call them lines. And so we have each player plays. There's 3 positions on offense and 3 positions on defense, which would be a designated quarterback, a designated running back, and a designated receiver, with a designated D lineman, linebacker, and defensive back. And so each game, so each team, so say like you have an owner, he'll pick a team over the season, and a season will last about 2 months. And so he'll have 3 lines of three players, and so it'll be like a quarterback DB, a running back linebacker, and a receiver D lineman. And that'll be his one line, and he'll have 3 lines. Then they'll play throughout the week, and we'll keep the records. We keep track of stats because we have awards every year: receiver of the year, running back of the year. We're actually in the playoffs right now, so we have like NFL, a VFL Red Zone pretty much every day where you can tune in and watch all these live streams on a Twitch simulcast where you can watch all these games at the same time.
Broadcast.
And so. Yeah, and so we're about to end of the off season, which is why we hit you guys up. We're like, people might be interested. I do connect to franchises leagues as well, so it's the same, but it's different because there's the same building aspect where you have to find people who are good at the game and good at using certain teams and certain players and add them to your squad, just like you would in connected franchise. So we do a draft system. We're trying to work on. We used to have a bidding system where owners were given a certain amount of money to spend on players, but right now we don't have the finances to do that, so we're staying to a draft system for now as we build the league back up.
So how do you add more players draft or free agency wise in because you guys are playing like a head-to-head thing, correct?
No, it's on Superstar KO. It's a 3v3.
Gotcha. Okay, so
wow. Regular NFL rosters.
So my mind just wow. Okay, so you go into Superstar KO, which is not a mode that I have played at all. I've never even clicked the button. And it'll allow you to play regular teams, and you can move players around.
Yeah, so you're allowed to pick regular teams, and you're allowed to play 3v3 style. You aren't locked to a position unless you're a quarterback, but we have games streamed, and we regulate that, and we say like, hey, one person has to be on a linebacker, one person be that way. It isn't a bunch of receivers running around, or it isn't a bunch of defensive backs running around. We have it kind of limited to by position, and because we can keep up with your stats as well, so you can win an award.
I am super intrigued with this. Okay, so you have an owner. He has 2 or 3 members that they play with. If I have that wrong, fix it for me.
Well, yeah. So
he has, yeah.
Yeah, so the owners, each owner it's 9 players per roster, and then you have practice squad rosters. But on your active roster, so there's 9 games a week right now. So we play 3 games. It's the same schedule. It's a flexibility thing of within that week you could reschedule if both teams agree. But we have a set schedule for every week. You play. There's 3 games on Sunday, 2 games on Monday, 2 Tuesday, and 2 Wednesday. But each player can only play 3 games. Each individual player can only play 3 games. So that's why you have 3 lines to match up for those 9 games. So technically, look at it like this: like you have a team. You play 3v3, but you have a team full of 9 players that you have. We call it lines. So just like smaller teams within a team, and we do a draft process. So right now we're at the end of the season. We're in the conference championship. Next week is Super Bowl. Then afterwards we'll go into like whatever the staff decides to do. They'll take as much time for off season, and then we'll go into the scouting period where owners do host tryouts for people to try out for the VFL and stuff like that. And then we do then essentially we go into the draft where we draft players and kind of get our rosters together, and then we get the regular season schedule through our website where we post. You have the regular season schedule. You can see the unique thing about us too. Like you can see all of the awards that people have won previous seasons, the teams they were on, their stats. We do podcasts. We do a lot of different unique stuff. So yeah.
Man, this sounds so cool. Okay, so the thing gets started in 2011 or Madden 11, whatever it was. You guys, when you jumped on Madden 12, when this all started, right? Like what was the overwhelming like goal that you had? Like, because it's definitely a mode that like it's not a consistent mode from my understanding. It's not something where you guys are getting the same thing every single year. So you're kind of like just going with whatever the flow that EA kind of throws at you. And I would assume that it would be hard to have set goals for what you want to see if you don't even know what EA is going to give you with the next year. What is it like to come up with some of that stuff? Or what are the goals that you guys currently have right now?
Well, yeah, so through when Madden 12 came out, obviously from Madden 12 to Madden 25 on 360, team play was supported. It was a game mode. It never went away. And as they jumped to next gen with the new engine, they had gotten rid of team play because they kind of had to rush that new Madden with the Xbox One. And so when that happened, our league kind of went on pause. And so once our league went on pause, we kind of had a really good community because we had gotten so big that we all stuck together and played 2K and other team play sports. And it came back through Ultimate Team, but Ultimate Team just left too much because we have a sim style play that we do, and having all those, as many badges as you want and whatever you want had made it very difficult to run a league. So we kind of just put it on pause still. And now that Superstar KO has come back, this is kind of like the first Madden since that we've actually introduced this league. And we're on season 3 now, about to go to season 4. So it's been a consistent, okay, we've got this league back in place. So we don't think team play will go away because the engine's going to remain the same. And so, but our goal is, man, like when it comes to sports, I think everybody agree it's all about playing like when you play 2K or FIFA or all these other sports games, what people love to play is team play. They love to play with people as well as against people because it adds that sports complex of playing with people. It's another dynamic of just playing with yourself.
Yeah.
And so that's what we love is this. It builds this Madden community because not only are you just playing people 1v1, but you're playing with your friends to beat other people.
Right, and you kind of
or sometimes you're not playing with your friends too. So I'm gonna make that clear. We're not a league that plays like, oh, bring your friends. Like obviously get your friends in, get them to try out for teams. But and the thing is like it's the human aspect. Like like you could get traded too. Like we do trades and stuff like that. So you can be traded.
So we keep it a sim style football, obviously, because we want people to play with their friends, but at the same time we want a competitive league.
Right.
And so what we do is with the draft and bidding process, it gives those new players the opportunity to prove themselves. And so the next season, these owners will pick them, and we'll have this we'll have this split of friends that end up having to go play for other teams because they get drafted somewhere else, and they might have to get traded or however it goes because we keep the sim style, but with the competitiveness of having friends to play as well.
Exactly.
That sounds so awesome.
And I think like he was saying earlier, like we used to be at around 600, 700 members, and we're at we're restarting now since the new Madden since it came back to Madden. A big thing is like people getting access to the Xbox X and S, so we do have big goals to eventually even grow back to those numbers and even farther.
Okay, so the goal is to continue growing to get you guys are. I don't say this very often, right? It's not something that said on the show. You guys are really blowing my mind right now. Like it's what I do for every show is like I take what I hear and I take the info you give me, and I didn't get a ton of info. I didn't get the sites, but I got the rules, and so I go through everything you guys send me, and I try to create a page full of notes for this, right? And as you guys keep talking, I keep going back to starting writing things because you guys are just blowing my mind with this. This is incredible.
It's so much fun.
When you're recording these stats, when you're getting schedules and stuff made, is this all done through a website? Like for our franchise and stuff, we have like a Daddy Leagues, or we have a Neon Sports, or we have these kind of outlets that are specifically made for franchise mode. maybe I'm wrong. I don't think there's anything specifically made for Superstar KO that would do the things you guys are doing. How do you do all this?
Well, so at the end of every superstar game, you can track stats. You can go on the pause menu and look at the prior
Right.
stats. And so not only do we have owners, but we have management. So we'll have someone who's a GM, and so we have people whose responsibilities it is to track the stats and put them in. Normally that goes through a vetting process because we
Okay.
don't just trust everyone to do that. As well as we have streams because we have rules as well as like say you're in the first quarter and someone lags out. Obviously, we don't want you to play without your quarterback for an entire
Right.
game. And so what we'll do is we'll allow you guys to back out after the first half and go into a new game and just play the first half of that and get your stats
Gotcha.
from both. That's why we encourage streaming. We actually we in placed a rule in season 2, I think, and started requiring it. That way we knew people were following rules. Most leagues do it as well.
Yeah.
So because of that, they're able to track their stats. They don't obviously you would rather the game finish, but if it comes to someone lagging out, you can still keep track of it. And yeah, we have a website. The guy who helped build the league had put a lot of money up so we could build that website back up. We used to have a really nice one with a bunch of forum posts and avatars. It was really nice. And we're hoping to get back to that. But right now, we're just kind of sitting with this website where we can keep stats and put articles and small things while we operate on the Discord for now.
Exactly.
This is awesome. Okay, so rules wise, I know that Superstar KO, because I've played around with MUT, and I believe they're a little bit similar with how you kind of play that version, I guess. It's hard to explain. When you start looking at rules, I have read the rule sheet. I went over it pretty quickly. If you guys could take a minute or two and kind of tell everybody what the rules look like. So for anybody watching this live, for anybody watching this on YouTube as it goes up later, and they're looking back and they're like, this is really interesting, give them an idea of what kind of rules they would be jumping into. What can you do offensively? What can you do defensively? What's it all looking like?
Yes. So
Yeah.
offensively, I'll give a couple big rules. I would say so. There's rules that we have to keep from AI tampering. That's one rule. We have a word called AI tampering. It's anytime a user or computer route messes with the AI to where he makes a move that would not be a football move, if that makes sense. Whether it's, hey, I use this. If you've played Madden long enough,
Yeah.
you've seen the plays where a guy runs a smoke screen and your deep blue just sprints down at him for no reason.
Right.
We would consider that AI tampering because in real life, no football player would ever think about making that kind of move.
Okay.
But we also have other rules in place, like we don't allow throwing outside the numbers just because it can be very manipulative. After a while, a lot of people can spam Lamar Jackson, run to the sideline, chill there for a while, and throw it to someone. So that's something we don't allow.
Real quick, I want to say not throwing the balls at the numbers because a lot of people, I run the PS5 league as well, so we just started up on PS5, and a lot of new members ask that question. Oh, we can't throw outside the numbers. It's not you can't you can throw the ball anywhere you want on the field. You can't run outside the numbers
and then throw.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
exactly.
That makes a lot of sense because it does feel like something that the game doesn't guard very well. That actually is something that's a pretty good rule. Okay. Any other things that you would say that this is a complete standout? You guys do the free agency, the draft thing with real users. Before we move on and get past these rules, is there anything else you would like these guys to know that if they're showing up, this is what they're showing up for?
One thing I can tell them as well is you're going to get the ball. We do have rules in place, like we call it the 80-20 rule. Whether it's running or passing, one of either or, you have to run it or pass it less than 80% of the time. So there has to be less than that. Way we don't have someone playing running back not getting the ball because we want everyone to enjoy playing Madden together. It's not
Right.
it's not just about we want the competitiveness, but we also want the community. So it's a little bit of both.
Yeah, and then the other rule is just like right now. So back in the day, teams used to have player lock. So like you said, before the ball is snapped, you need one player on D-line, you need one player on linebacker, and then any of the DBs as well. So and then D-line can use edge rushers or D tackles, obviously. So edge rushers count. So if you have somebody like a Von Miller or like a Khalil Mack, that still technically count as a D-line sack. You know what I mean? So like, and then all those sacks that a D lineman gets, that goes towards. So even if a CPU makes a sack, let's say your user in Von Miller, but Aaron Donald gets a sack as a CPU, that stat still goes towards you, and that helps boost your stats. Or if you do a click on switch on pick as a DB, that still goes towards the DB at the end of the game. And it's really unique because we have like a whole award process at the end, like right before going into the playoffs, announcing the MVPs and stuff like that, and the quarterback of the year, and all these different types of awards. And not just that, but also we have a Super Bowl MVP as well.
Got you. Okay, so if anybody's wanting to look for you guys online, where do they go? Like, what's the Twitch? What's the Twitter? What's the Discord? I believe the Discord's already up somewhere on here. But how can they
Yeah,
find you guys?
so we have the Discord up. We have a Twitter. So what we're moving towards now is we're trying. This is actually our first time exposing ourselves to other communities, because that's been our big issue. Is we've really been trying to build a foundation as a league
Mm-hmm.
because we have a lot of vets, but we've gotten to the point where I'm like, we as a staff, we've agreed like, hey, we need more new people into team
Mm-hmm.
play and not the same guys who've been playing since Madden 13.
Right.
So this is actually one of our first exposures is we have a Discord. That's our main line of communication. We do have a Twitter. Twitter is more going to
Yeah.
be for highlights of what we're doing. You can look at the highlights of the Super Bowl, and we're going to post our Twitter in the Discord today. That's one thing I was working with him. That's why I got him to post. And our website is more for stats right now. We do have articles on there.
Mm-hmm.
But our website's more for, hey, go look at the standings, go look at where you're at in the quarterback rankings, go look at where you're at in the linebacker rankings, and then you can go in the Discord, and we have all types of outlets where you can chat and general chat or tryouts and kind of where you can communicate with the community.
I actually run the Twitter. So if anybody's listening right now, I'll tell you the Twitter is VFL Gaming. It's just VFL and Gaming at VFL Gaming on Twitter, and you could join. You could see a little bit more about what's going on. We actually, like I mentioned earlier, we just launched this first season ever on PS5. We're hoping for. We're trying to get the PS5 started because I also have a PS5, so we're trying to get that started so we can merge next season if they come out with cross-platform, which we're really hoping for to just even grow the league even farther.
Man, this sounds phenomenal. All right, guys, we're going to take a really quick commercial break. When we come back, we are going to talk about what these different roles are, because I'd like to hear more about the owners, what all different kinds of power that they got. I also want to talk about my guess is you experience some kind of rivalries between your members. There's a lot of freaking people in your community, so I'd like to hear some cool stuff with that. And we're going to talk about some things that EA could probably do to help you guys out. Some stuff you guys are looking for that give EA a shot and be like, hey, if you guys did this would be really impactful. We will be right back. One. All right. Let's talk about this. So the role of the owner. Let's say that I join your league. Let's say you guys look at me and you're like, Mo, we think you would be a phenomenal owner. You get to own the Cardinals. What power do I have? Like, what do I get to do?
So as an owner, your first process would be picking your management. So we'll give you the opportunity to have a manager, which would be kind of like your assistant in a way, and it helps with the vetting process because some people want to become owners one day, and so it gives them the opportunity to have some responsibilities of an owner, without as much of the accountability as keeping stats and doing all those things. But essentially, an owner's responsibility is to pick your team. So we have a team draft every year once we assign owners, and so that's when you would come together and you would pick your team, whether it's the Cardinals. Now we do limit teams sometimes because we do think there's some things that are a disadvantage, like for instance the rules. So this season, we found that Gunslinger was just ridiculous. Like teams who had Gunslinger were really able to manipulate, and it was very difficult. So as a league, we asked the league, "Hey, what would you guys think about if we took Gunslinger away for this season?" And so we didn't. So we did that. But for this next season, as a staff, we'll reevaluate it with the league. Hey, what do you guys want? Do we want to take this away? Do we want to add it back? And we'll decide on that. But as an owner, your job will be to pick the team and your management.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, you would try out players. So new players who come in, or even old veterans that come in, your job would be to get them together, because you have to have 3 lines for your team. So three separate teams for your team. It's almost like pitchers on a baseball team, if in a way. You have 5 pitchers. You don't pitch everyone every day. Same way we play 9 games, 3 different teams on those days, but they're all the representative of the Cardinals.
Yeah.
And so,
and it all plays their overall record. Whether you could have one line that goes undefeated the whole season, they don't lose a game, and your other 2 lines just do really bad. In theory, you could not make the playoffs because the 2 lines didn't play well and perform well together. So yeah, you have your own individual team within a team, because obviously everybody has different schedules and time frames that they could work around. But it also allows that factor of like, hey, we can look at baseball. I don't know if you watch baseball or not, but DeGrom is one of the best pitchers, and is the best pitcher in the world right now. The Mets, outside of him, like a lot of times, if other guys on him's not pitching well and performing well, they won't make the playoffs.
That's true. You gotta have a lineup. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you this next question then. If let's say you guys are out there, there's people watching right now, and they're like, I might be a fit for this, but I'm not sure, right? If you could describe a perfect member for what you guys are looking for, what person is that?
I'll take this.
You got it.
So I would say the perfect member that we're looking for is just somebody who be willing to learn, man. Like, obviously you come in, you don't know all the rules and stuff like that. It's a little bit change. It's a change of pace, team play in general. Just somebody who could come in, be willing to learn the rules, get along with people, talk to people, talk trash, man. That's what we're about. We're about the rivalries, like you mentioned. We have some pretty cool rivalries going on right now.
That.
Yeah, that's all fair game, but we're just looking for people who want to be active, who want to play, who want to have a good time, who want to have fun, and be competitive, and want to win, but at the same time, who's not trying to come in and deteriorate from what we're trying to do. We're trying to build. It's not just about Madden. We're trying to build a community where this grows into so many different platforms. So just anybody in general, no matter what you look like or who you are or what you do. A guy that I play with right now, he's a really awesome dude. He's a singer. He's in a wheelchair and everything, and he can barely use his hands, but he plays and he shows up all the time. He always has a positive attitude.
Love it. I absolutely love that. Shout out to that guy. What's his name?
His name's Johnny Wills.
There you go, Johnny Wills, man. Shout out to you, bro. You rock, man. Okay, so let's talk about some rivalries, right? Because you have 200 plus members. You guys were at 600 at some point. I would be a fool to bet in the opposite way, but I am guessing you have some pretty healthy rivalries over there. Give me some of the stuff that I could probably experience as I walked into your Discord.
I'll take this one. So what's cool about our league is we've been a community since, like I said, Madden 11, and so we do have veterans. We have a lot of veterans who've butt heads for 10 plus years. Like, we all kind of know. We have new players, but we also have, there's these rivalries you'll come into, like you say. For instance, we have one right now. There's a guy in the league who's very talented, probably one of the better players in the league. His name's Crow, and he's always talking smack in the Discord. And so we have another veteran whose name's Aries, and they're in the conference championship right now. Actually, I think they're playing right now. Well, I think they play tomorrow. But I think they're in game 4 right now, but they've been talking smack, like, because they're going to play game 5, and they think they're going to go to game 7. And so if you jump in the Discord, what I love about our Discord, our community, is we have a platform for you to talk trash, but as well, you can participate in it without talking trash. Like, you can kind of watch them talking, and then you can tune in on the VFL Red Zone, and we'll have people commentating and talking about the rivalry and everything going on. You can watch the game, and then at the end of the game, you can always jump back into the Discord and see everything blow up. Now, we do have rules. Obviously, we don't let personal attacks, things like that happen, but we give a healthy boundary for everyone to kind of trash talk without getting too personal.
And like Ponchy just said, we have rules, like, so it doesn't go too far. We also have people. So the cool thing about our league, like, there's so much opportunity to grow with inside the league. As far as, like, there's a lot of people who don't even want to do ownership, but they want to be on staff and they want to help in that way. So we have people who monitor the Discord. If somebody, obviously certain comments that just can't be said, and that just won't fly in our league. So we have people who's monitoring that, and there's obviously consequences for certain stuff, and we have a whole whole system that's being set up for certain consequences for certain actions and stuff like that. So as long as it's trash talking within, no personal attacks on somebody, like, what I mean, involved in certain stuff. But if it's about Madden, it's fair game, for the most part.
Facts. I absolutely love rivalries, and the reason that I love rivalries as much as I do is I've had a rivalry with a dude named Mocha, who actually doesn't even play with us anymore, for probably 8 years now, Fit. And so he's probably not watching this, but Mocha, if you are, fuck you, buddy. I love you. So I'm a big fan of the rivalries. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Let's get into this part. If you could sit down with an EA developer, right? Like, let's say Swami's watching, right? What could EA do to help you guys going forward?
Yeah, I'll go and then you go, Ponchy. I would say, one, take it off Superstar KO where we could edit the quarters, edit the time, and edit the depth charts would be a big thing. And the old VFL, the way it was set up, it was not the old VFL, the old team play back in the day was just perfect. You could have player lock. So three of the big things we're hoping for next year, and tell me if I'm wrong, Ponchy, is editable depth charts where instead of having to go in a game and like do subs and stuff, you can edit your depth chart. Player lock is another thing, and then editable game, like adjusting the game time and the difficulty. Because I know one thing is we don't even truly know what difficulty Superstar KO is on. We don't know if it's on All Pro or All Madden. I don't think it's on All. It's for sure not on All Madden, but we don't know like if the exact difficulty is on. So that would be great. Yeah, and just like invest in the community. I mean, invest in it. Like we feel like this could be something really, really big. I mean, I don't know if you pay attention to like what's going on in NHL, but I mean, NHL has eight big leagues, like under leagues. So you like how we have the VFL, we used to have something called the AFL. So if you didn't make the VFL, you'll still play in an under league called the AFL, and you could work your way up, kind of like the minor leagues, like minor league baseball. So we had that this season. We're gonna this new staff. I'm not on staff right now. They're gonna make decisions as far as all of that stuff go. But NHL, for example, they have 8 of those. They have essentially 8 minor leagues.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's how big their team play community is. And I mean, FIFA is one of the biggest team play communities. But the difference between us and FIFA, our whole thing is with us, we're regular rosters. With FIFA, you create your guy and stuff like that. And in certain 2K leagues, we're regular rosters. All regular rosters. That's what we're trying to grow into. Just all like MLB The Show just came out with team play baseball. So we're gonna run regular roster team play baseball if it allows us to. We're still testing the waters. I'm running that league right now if everything works out. But our whole thing is regular rosters.
That is exciting. Ponchy, anything you want to add with what EA could help you guys with?
Nah, man, just the process of editing would be great because we would like to have a little bit longer minute quarters or things like that. Setting the skill. We can't do depth chart right now. We have a rule where basically, but to make up for not being able to go to your depth chart, we give each team 2 delay games. So we'll let your team take 2 delay games. That way you can do formation subs as quickly as possible. That way you can kind of put your guys in correctly. And so we're hoping a little bit more support from EA in that kind of aspect, just to really a platform for us to play, because that's how it used to be, and then they took it away. And so we're just hoping that they just give us an area where we can kind of customize our game settings.
Interesting.
And a lot of people don't want to have faith in EA, and I completely understand that. EA has let me down personally. I'm a big connected franchise guy as well, and I run a league for connected franchise. It's let me down so many times. I mean, damn it, they didn't do what they said they were going to do. 1, and then number 2, they took forever to add in the new roster, the new draft process, the scouting process. It took forever and kind of killed the vibe of some leagues. But the one thing I will say is that when they first came back out with Team Play and Superstar KO, they didn't have stats. Like, they didn't have in-screen where we could take stats for the first season. And then we got on to EA and they put stats in. So now it's so much easier for us to track stats. So we're having a lot of faith that next season that, this was the first season back. So next Madden, we're hoping that it goes to even higher platforms and stuff like that. And it's back for good. And it's going to skyrocket from here is the hope.
Darion, one of the things you mentioned was a new management team. Can you guys fill me in on what this management team's starting to look like right now?
Yeah, I'll go first and then let Ponchy take over. So Ponchy is actually he's one, like he said earlier, he's a new, he actually just got into the deputy commissioner role. Our previous commissioner is stepping away. He decided to step down. He was a great guy, great man. And now we have somebody named the rivalry, Aries. Aries officially take over, official as commissioner, I think, in like whenever the playoffs is over. So he's getting his staff together, getting his team together, like everything all figured out now. And from my perspective, I think it was a great choice to go with Aries. One, he's somebody who can keep it real. I think he has good insights and good overall. He's been a part of the league for a really long time and have a really good understanding of the community. And that's something we really need to continue to grow. Somebody who understands Madden. And then some of the stuff that he's implemented, I think is going to be really good from what I heard so far. And then, and I'm not just saying this because Ponchy is on here, but Ponchy is like a really big fan favorite in the league. Just as because every league's going to have some dickheads, you know. So this Ponchy is a nice guy. He's a nice guy, and he plays with whoever, you know. So, and I've enjoyed playing a lot with Ponchy. So, and the other guy, the other deputy commissioner is Timo. So the commissioner team is 3 of them right now, and Timo is a great guy as well. And so we're really, really excited to see what this next channel and next adventure is gonna happen. What's gonna happen in it.
Ponchy, you are now the man of the hour, bro. How are you feeling?
Yeah, so I'll give a little aspect of how the staff works because I'm sure that kind of comes in question. Basically, we have commissioner, which would be the head. Obviously, it would be the kind of the president, if you will. Then we have deputy commissioners, like you said, like me and Timo. And then the goal is we'll have what we call board of governors. Board of governors, their kind of rule of thumb is, hey, they go have meetings where you can, if you play a team and say they break a rule, you can file a ticket and file a complaint. And so they meet every week and they make a ruling on if they broke the rules or not and what kind of punishment will come with that, whether it's take the game away or suspend them for a game or a week. And then we also have a media team, which we're building back up. Media team's responsible for kind of like things you do, like we have them do our VFL Red Zone. We'll have them post articles, do kind of like PTI or first take kind of videos on what's going on in the VFL news, whether it's with the new staff assignments or things like that. It is exciting because we do have some, like I just came back. I was on PlayStation for a while, realized they had a team play league, came back. And so we have a lot of the veterans who helped run. I was staff on the other one when it was around 600 to 700. So we kind of have seen the VFL grow back up. And so we're seeing veterans come back like me and others. And we want to kind of help build the back up the VFL to where it once was. And so now we're kind of stepping up and we're trying to place down, like I said, a foundation of, hey, how are we going to get new players? How are we going to get ourselves out there and get people more involved in what team play is and things like that? Solidify our rules, make sure that our rules are still good. We don't need to adjust them and things like that. So we're in the touch-up phase, but we're super excited for season 4. We have a lot of new stuff and new things to the leagues, new ways to play with other players, new ways to, if you're new, because like you said before, getting involved in team play can be a little daunting at first. You know, most people are used to one user on the field.
Yep.
Playing quarterback with 3 people running around makes things a lot more difficult because there's a lot more going on. And so
there's actually 5 people running around. You have the quarterback that's there. You have 2 offensive players, and you don't even know where the hell the defense is going to be because, like, as somebody that plays just a single player franchise, like, well, I'm in a 32-person franchise, but when I'm playing somebody, I'm worried about where their user is. Once I know where their user is, it's like, oh, I'm going to go to the other side of the field because this is going to be open. I know, like, it is what it is. So to play 3-on-3, wow, there's so much more game planning. There's so much more working together. There's holding each other accountable. Like, there's just so much more to it, and I am so drawn to this idea that I didn't even know this existed or was out there. You guys are definitely onto something. This is phenomenal. Let's actually talk about.
Crazy.
Go ahead.
Sorry.
Go ahead. No. Go ahead.
I was gonna say it's crazy because like you could be really bad at 1v1, but come in and but you're a great runner of the football, right? You come in here and be a running back, play running back, and you have so much fun because like you're doing something that you're just good at, but you suck at quarterback. You know what I mean? Right. Or even it's another scenario. Like a lot of times, we'll have like guys who like supposedly like top 100 1v1 guys. They come in and they just can't click with people, or they can't just figure it out because now it's 2 users and it's a whole different scheme. A lot of those like one play touchdowns don't work as much because of the fact that now you have 2 users on the field and you have one D lineman who's rushing you, who's usually like a lot of people say that the second most important position in the VFL is a great user D lineman because your quarterback doesn't have as much time. Right. You know, obviously quarterback's number 1 because if you have a great quarterback, the more likely you are to win. And then I'm really a big believer in having a very good chemistry with your wide receiver because, like if he's breaking off a route or something like that, he knows what you want and what you want in certain formations, certain plays and stuff like that as well. So it's a really crazy aspect on how it's so different from you could be the best at 1v1, but it's just such a different aspect. Like it's not just about you.
No, it sounds like a blast. Let's actually talk about, you mentioned you have a content department or a media department. What kind of stuff can we look forward to in the future? What's the next thing on the list?
So, like I said, we have our VFL Red Zone, which has been people have loved it recently. Basically, we're hoping to introduce that more into the regular season, where it's just a Twitch simulcast where you can watch every single game that's going on with some maybe notable people within the VFL kind of give commentary. And then what we'll do is a lot of times we'll bring people in for an interview. For instance, we had the conference championship. They play the game. Whoever wins or loses, we'll have them come in kind of like a post-game interview, and we'll have to interview them, ask them how they think the series is going to go and things like that. We do articles as well with the power rankings. And so this coming off season, we'll do exciting things as a team. We'll talk about top free agents. Maybe we'll talk about sleepers. We'll have these big YouTube videos where someone will talk about who they think is going to go where, who they think, what owner they think might, because we have this thing as well called a max bid. So that'll come up. Max bid's basically if you want a player very, very badly, you think he's one of the best in the league, you can max bid him. But if you max bid him, you sacrifice. Right now, you would be your first and third round pick. And so you wouldn't have a first and third round pick, but you would get one of the better players in the league. But at the same time, you lose depth on your team. And so we'll talk about, hey, who's going to be the max bid? Do you think? And sometimes a player will get max bidded by multiple teams, and so at that moment, the player will get to choose where they go.
Nice.
And so then we'll talk about where the player thinks he's going to go. It adds kind of a drama to the league and things like that.
That is phenomenal. I love drama. I like that kind of drama. Like I don't like it when I have to deal with drama with people arguing or people are like it's like petty shit. But I love like the real raw. We didn't win because you didn't fucking cover that route. Yeah, you better go fucking cover that route, bro. That's your fucking route.
Speaking of the rivalry, not to backtrack real quick, but just because I have our Discord pulled up too. Speaking of the rivalry, the playoff games, games 3 and 4 just finished up tonight. One team got swept, and then
Cowboys get swept.
Crow team, the guy we're talking about, Crow and Aries. Crow team just went up 3-1 tonight, and I did not expect. I think I had the chart. So Aries is on the Chargers. Crow Ravens. I had the Chargers winning the series, but the Ravens are up 3-1 right now. And Crow posted, because people said he was ducking Aries, but he posted, "See you tomorrow at 9 p.m. to finish you off." Because it's game 5.
See, I like that stuff. I like that stuff. Okay. Boys, you have unlocked my brain in ways that I did not expect it to be unlocked tonight. So when I got online tonight, I did not expect to do a League Crawler live show. This was something we set up an hour before we went live. And during that hour, I actually had an entire game that I played over in Boltzmann. So I didn't even have time to do this, but you guys absolutely brought it tonight. Anybody in the chat, spam the VFL in the hair, man. Absolutely, these guys deserve it. They brought it. They absolutely killed it. I cannot thank you enough for your time. Is there anything that we didn't hit that you're like, Mo, you don't want to miss this part?
One thing I'll say is what's unique about the VFL that you don't get with Connected Franchise is you get the free agent experience. Mm-hmm. You get that experience of people wanting you for your talent, people wanting you to play a certain position. And it's very different when it's a Connected Franchise, when it's just your team. And so I think that's what a lot of people enjoy is it's this sim style of football, but you're also a player in it, if that makes sense. And so it's very unique. And I do think a lot of people franchise community would enjoy it. So just check it out. I think like I said, a bunch of people would love it.
Definitely make sure that you get that link.
Like you said, man, it's open door policy. If you come in and you like it, then great. We'd love to have you because we're at 200 members right now, and I want people to also know one thing: like we have so much room for players right now. Like it's not like you won't get to play or get a chance. You will get a chance. Owners will try you out. That's something we want to predicate. It's like, hey, you're gonna come in, you're gonna get a shot. Prove yourself. Prove yourself that you belong here. I think this is even better than 1v1 because this is you. You know what I mean? Like this is you trying out for this team or this owner or whatever, and you can get traded. You can get put on a move, and you can play with different people. You can play with a certain group one season, but the next season. So get in, and we had 600 members at one point, and we're gonna get back there, and we're gonna just continue to grow. And so there's plenty of opportunities.
Guys, if you want to find them on Twitter, it is at VFL Gaming. If you want to find them on the Discord, you can check on YouTube when this is posted. It's going to be in the description below. I believe you guys also have it in the chat somewhere that you guys posted it up here. It's the discord.gg/virtual-football-league. Man, you guys, again, you absolutely brought it. Is there anything else that you want to hit before we get out of here for the night?
Nah, man. Thanks so much for having us.
Oh, absolutely. This was great. Yeah, this
we're
was
just
phenomenal. Go ahead, Darion.
I was just gonna say, yeah, man. Thank you for reaching back out to me and having us on. And if anybody's interested in joining, we'd love to have you. And also feel free to reach out to me or Ponchy, and we'll give you any more questions you might have. So just let them know. Okay, if you have any questions, reach out to us in a DM, and we'll tell you more.
Yo, phenomenal. But give your guys a round of applause. For anybody out there, give these guys a round of applause. Excellent work, fellas. Guys, League Crawler Live. Every night from Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, whenever you guys see the open spots, if you want to jump on, you want to get on here, and you want to talk about your guys' league, your community, if you want to talk about yourself and your gaming aspirations and how you're streaming, get on. My time is open to all of you. Much love. 10 more minutes, I got another game. Adios!